Hey everybody! Welcome to this very special episode of ROMP. This is my last episode of 2022, episode 12. Feels a little weird saying it's, the last one of 2022, because I've only been doing this for like 2 months. In those 2 months, things have been going pretty good though. As of right now, as of this video, we have amassed 10,000 total channel views, 1,000 total hours watched, and 437 subscribers. I see you guys. Hi everybody. This is fun. I'm having a really good time making these so far, and they seem to be hitting an audience of some kind, especially the Shock Warrior video. That was a weird one. Can you guys tell me what it was that you liked about that one specifically? I don't really know what happened with that Shock Warrior video, but it hit like 6,500 views, and my videos tend to average around 600 views. So that was pretty cool. I think a little bit of that help was from one Cardboard Bots. They showed up and left a comment on that video, which was really cool. And then they posted it like a promo for my video on their channel. Thank you. I see you, Cardboard Bots. Thank you. Always cool getting recognition from people who've inspired you to do the thing you're doing. It's only uphill from here. I got some fun plans for 2023 for some videos. I know in that update from a while ago, I said I might do an Armada Starscream versus, like, the Legacy one versus the original. I do still intend on doing that eventually. It's just sitting to the side. I have an Armada Overload video that I just cannot figure out the script for. I've rewritten it like 3 times. That one's sitting in the oven somewhere. I got a video about shell formers on the way. I have a bunch of friends loaning me a bunch of stuff for that video, so that could be pretty cool. What do you guys want to see? Like, is there anything in particular that you're like, yeah, give me this stuff. I want this content. Let me know. There's no guarantee I'm going to do it per se, but I am very open to suggestions, especially if it's stuff that the audience is telling me directly that they want. I feel like that makes sense. So, my top pickups of 2022. Collecting in 2022 was fun. It was a big year. We had a lot of cool, crazy stuff come out in Legacy. That was very exciting, but I'm not going to be specifically talking about stuff that was released in 2022. I'm going to talk about stuff that I picked up in 2022, which is a little all over the place. Let's start with a couple honorable mentions before we get into the meat and potatoes of the list. The first one is Super Train Megazord. I had a really, really good year in collecting, and he got cornered out only because of how good of a year it was. I love the Super Train. I'm still working on getting him back to top dog condition, but for the time being, sorry, didn't make the list. Number 2 for honorable mentions, come here, big guy, is Legacy Transmetal 2 Dragon Megatron. This is entirely recency bias, I think. I got this guy like a couple weeks ago, and he's good. He's really good. I think he might have made the list, but I can't say like without the recency bias he would have made the list, so I'm leaving him off in favor of some other stuff. He's really good though. It feels like it's been a while since we've gotten like a good, large, meaty leader class. Like, you put this guy beside Astro Train and he just dwarfs him. Dragon Megatron, phenomenal, but not on the list, unfortunately. Third honorable mention goes to Legacy Dead End, representing the entire Stunticon squad. I have the rest of the Stunticons, all of the ones that are out right now per se. I got Motormaster up on the shelf. Give me a second. I've got Motormaster, and he's phenomenal, but I knew he was going to be really good when I ordered him. I'd been waiting for this guy forever, and he was great. Dead End, though, I did not think was going to be great. I didn't think he was going to be bad, but the retool from Dragstrip over to this, it's a very inspired transformation for a car former. It's not like anything we've really seen, honestly. He's awesome. So Motormaster, the whole Menasor squad, not on the list. Menasor is also not even complete yet. That's a whole other thing. And I didn't want to slot 4 figures for an unfinished combiner onto the list. So maybe you understand. I hope you do. So those were all the honorable mentions. Let's get into the list. So my top 5 pickups of the year. Starting at number 5 is Human Alliance Soundwave. So I went to Vancouver earlier this year. I took a flight out there with my partner, and we had a wonderful vacation. We went biking along the ocean side. It was magical. I'm not convinced people actually live in Vancouver. That whole city is just like an amusement park. It's nuts. But while there, I also visited Ages 3 and Up, which was super cool. I've ordered stuff from them before, but I've never been to their in-person store. And while there, I found Human Alliance Soundwave. I love his weird, gangly proportions. I love that like 10% of the car is what makes up his legs. Like it's just the bumper. It's so silly. But he's weird, he's gangly, he's ugly, and he's like the perfect summation of all of those weird movie designs. His head looks like a cathedral. Like it's just, he's a mess, but he's a good mess. Also, he feels kind of like an alternator. He's got like a fully featured interior in the car mode for his human partner to go into. I have the human partner and Laserbeak. They're in a box somewhere. They're not the good part. This is the good part. So yeah, number 5, Human Alliance Soundwave. Very fun find. So pardon me while I grab number 4 because he's a little tricky. Oh goodness. Okay. Number 4 is guy. Can I get you in frame? How do I get this guy in the camera? Can I put him up here? Is that gonna work? Hey, not bad. There we go. The behemoth that is Legacy Metroplex has snuck in at the number 4 spot. So I am a Unicron Trilogy kid. I grew up with the Unicron Trilogy, which meant I had a lot of Unicron Trilogy toys as a kid. And one that I remember very fondly was the original 2006 Cybertron Metroplex. So when I heard that they were doing a Titan of that character, I was super excited. And this guy does everything that the original does tenfold. Like, the alt mode is cleaned up a little bit. The arms tuck into a better position. It still kind of looks like a folded up guy, but I think all Titans do. That's just a symptom of being a big boy. But the second thing they did that really impressed me was they took that kind of half-assed, half-transformation work mode that the original had, and they turned it into a thing. It's like a feature mode now, wherein you could split the 2 weapons and put them on the ends of his hands for just this big, crazy murder drone. Like, it was awesome. And the robot mode, like the full proper robot mode is, I mean, look at it. You can't tell me this isn't, like, phenomenal. He's incredibly articulated. He's got, like, 3 joints in his ankles alone. His giant weapon is fun. It's a little tricky to pose him with, I find. But he's got, like, a neck joint. He's got a mouth. He's got a mouth, guys. A Titan has a mouth. And an ab crunch. Like, I don't really know what else you'd want from this guy. Maybe articulated fingers. I know there's an upgrade kit out there that gives him articulated fingers. And it also gives him his Minicon partner that he doesn't come with in this iteration. But I'm very satisfied with this package. This was like, there was like an itch that I had to get my hands on some nice original Unicron Trilogy stuff again. And I actually sought out and got the original of this guy too. But this is a whole other game. It is one of, if not the single nicest Titan I've ever handled. He's phenomenal. Number 4. Time to get him off my desk. Ugh. Oh god. All right, number 3 is a bit of an oddball. So for number 3, this year, I found a complete in-box Armada Optimus Prime, sealed. My partner and I, we went on a road trip, and while we were on this road trip, we decided, hey, you know what would be funny if we just looked at some weird comic shops through all the towns that we're stopping through. So we're looking on Google Images, and I see this one shop that has a bunch of sealed Armada toys, and I'm like, yo, can we go there? These photos were quite old though, so I didn't hold up crazy high hopes, but when we got there, he was still there, so I snagged him up. I'm not a complete in-box collector. I don't do this often. Armada Prime is a very strange exception because I know he's a bit of an odd duck. His elbows, I've heard, have just like exploded on people's copies. I've also heard the whole thing explodes on other people's copies. There's been this ongoing rumor, maybe not a rumor, let me know, that the automorph gimmick, the battery-powered automorph gimmick that turns the trailer into a pair of legs, detonates and sets on fire, which is very cool. I watched Micron Legend this year, the Japanese version of Armada. That show gets way too much flack. I thought Micron Legend was a fantastic watch. So finding a lovely complete in-box sample of the main boy from Micron Legend was great. This was a very fun find, and he sits on my top shelf, pristine in his little case, with his little mini-con, and every day I look at him, and I have to tell a small part of my brain, no, don't open it. We're getting the one in Legacy Evolution soon. Just grit your teeth until that happens. Boxed Armada Optimus Prime takes the number 3 spot for my find of the year. Very happy. On to number 2 then. You know what I didn't do this year? I didn't go to TFCon. I've never been to TFCon. I dream of the day that I get to go to TFCon. But I did still manage to get my grubby mitts on Fans Hobby Arson. So Arson here was the TFCon Los Angeles convention exclusive figure. And I love Fans Hobby. We'll talk about that more later. Fans Hobby does things so right for me. And I really liked their Cab mold that they did of Cab from Super God Master Force. So when I saw it in like these G2, Pyro is G2, right? Pyro and Clench, that's G2. G2, G1.5. When I saw him in these colors, I had to get my hands on it. I love his design. I love his head sculpt. These colors just cut right through me. I love his weird fire truck mode that's like half a caution sign and just half this punch you right in the retinas red. It is great. I made some friends along the way getting this guy. My local collector community group they're a different breed, man. They are fantastic people. And one of them hooked me up with a friend who went to TFCon who managed to ship me this guy. So I'm happy I didn't pay scalper prices for him, but I definitely didn't pay convention floor price either. Take what you can get. And what I got is Fans Hobby Arson. Also, mine is number 328 out of 600. So when the historians ask where every single Fans Hobby Arson went, tell them 328 was with Dylan over on the ROMP YouTube channel. Number 2, Arson. All right, big drum roll. Number 1, what was my number 1 pickup out of the entirety of the year 2022? It was one that, of all places, I found on r/Transformers Trading on Reddit. It is a mold that I have wanted for a very long time, and getting him in hand, I was just as excited getting him as I thought I would be. None other than Armada Galvatron. Ooh. Ooh. He is complete. He does have all of his missiles. And he does have his mini-con, I just have him tacked up here on the side. But Armada Galvatron is the epitome of early 2000s plastics. This dude has no knees and a knife built into his hand. It is wonderful, this thing. I cannot get over the audacity of the Armada Megatron design with its gigantic stag horns and the like missile launcher bays. There we go. the missile bays, on the tank mode and stuff like that. It's incredible. Finding one on Reddit was weird. I've looked at the Transformers trading group a couple of times, but this was one of very few times that I actually got something off of them. I didn't have Armada Megatron as a kid. When I was getting into Unicron trilogy stuff as a kid, I had Armada Unicron. I had him, but most of my stuff was like Energon and Cybertron era. My like peak childhood toy that I can think of was Energon Scorponok. Didn't have this guy as a kid, so it was very, very cool getting my hands on this guy, experiencing him for the first time in my mid-20s, and he is just as good as I hoped he would be. Also, for future buyers, just so you know, the golden colored plastic on this guy is not that gold plastic. It is not GPS susceptible. It is totally normal caramel colored plastic. It doesn't have the scary swirl, which is good because it makes up like the insides of his elbows, minicon pegs, missiles. It's just plastic. It's not going to disintegrate on you. There you go. Do you know how hard it is to find this guy with both of his horns? There's some really funny eBay samples out there of just the most compromised looking Armada Megatrons who do not have most of their parts, but for some reason, it's always the horns. I don't know why these come off, but eBay samples just never have the horns, which is, ain't that lovely. So them's the breaks, guys. Those are my top 5 pickups in 2022 that I found. Very fun year for collecting. Yeah, I got some really crazy stuff. I suppose we should probably get on to some viewer questions. So on my last video, on my Shoki review, I asked everybody to send me in some questions with the hashtag ROMP question for the video. And now, if you submitted one of those, I'm going to answer them. Let's get the ball rolling. Chef on a Oven asks, what got you into collecting Transformers, and what is your favorite figure in your collection? What got me into collecting? I need to go get something. One moment. This bastard got me into collecting. This guy right here. So I used to collect all manner of things. I was big into retro gaming collecting for the longest time, and just like old electronics and weird knickknacks. And I had an empty spot on the corner of my desk where I didn't have any figures or anything interesting. So I thought, man, I know there's those like weird high-end Transformers. They seem kind of neat. Maybe I'll get one of them. So I did a bit of research and I found a man locally who on Kijiji had Masterpiece Soundwave with Laserbeak with a broken wing for a very good price. And I bought him. I really liked him. It was getting Transformers back in my hands for the first time since my childhood. And it was all downhill from there. And then I started watching Thew's Awesome Transformers reviews, and I watched his video on Battle Trap, and I thought that was a very interesting video. So I started collecting right around Titan's Return, and I went and I picked up both halves of Battle Trap, and yeah, I think that was the official tipping point. I got Soundwave, and then I got Battle Trap, and then then the floodgates were open. And then I bought like a third-party Bruticus, like the Warbatron one. It got a little crazy a little fast, but at its core, I needed to fill a spot on my desk. Masterpiece Soundwave filled that spot, and then I just kept buying robots. As for the second part of your question, what is your favorite figure in your collection? I'm actually going to snowball this into the next question as well. So Mateo Potato 7271 asks, all of your videos seem to be such a high quality, especially in the editing. It's amazing that your channel is starting out so strong. Mateo, you're very sweet. Thank you. What are some of your favorite third-party bots? So my favorite bot in my collection is a third-party bot. I own a few third-party bots. I don't do third-party in a huge way. I have like an Iron Factory Sea Spray and the Fans Toys Sea Spray, but like Fans Toys, it's just too much for me, like both price-wise and complexity. It's all tiny struts and small panels and like 5 million step transformations. I'm okay. I like something that's like nice and chunky and fun to handle, and those don't seem fun to handle. So my favorite bot in my collection, and my favorite third-party bot, Fans Hobby Double Evil. He's insane. He is absurd. He's large, he's heavy, the plastics feel amazing, the paint detail is incredible, his joints are some of the most just stupid joints on any robot I own. Listen to this hip. Can I get this hip on the mic? It's lovely. It's so good. Always got to be fans' hobby. Their build quality is just unrivaled to me, and I love how their stuff feels. It's always as complex as it needs to be, and never more. That's my favorite. Those are my third parties. Let me put this big boy back and we'll keep going. Skinny Tittles 24 asks, what is your favorite Transformers movie that isn't Bumblebee? You got me, because Bumblebee definitely is my favorite one. How much of a cop-out would it be if I said the 1986 film? Ooh, you didn't specify, I couldn't say that one. I think it's a safe bet that that one's second. But if you're wondering specifically the Bayformers films, gotta be Dark of the Moon. Dark of the Moon has some really fun moments. I felt like it was one of the few Michael Bay films that actually had like a vaguely compelling plot. I thought Sentinel Prime was fun. So yeah, I'm gonna say Bumblebee, 1986, Dark of the Moon, movie 1, movie 2, and I'm not even gonna acknowledge the other two. Danalysis asks, how do you choose which bots to review? And on a side note, I love your style of reviewing. Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't really have a system for what bots I want to review. I kind of just pick the ones that I have the most to say about. Bots that are really gimmick heavy or have a weird history are easy to talk about. Like Shoki was easy to talk about because he had a really cool train mode and he has a lot of weird history with his combining stuff. Armorhide was easy to talk about because I had some funny stuff to talk about with his bio. Scorponok was easy to talk about because he's monstrous and has like a billion things going on to talk about. Yeah, just whoever I have stuff to say stuff about. But there really isn't a system to it. Just, this bot is interesting to me. Let me tell you why. There's the video. Omar Sadek 9470 asks, is there a figure you really want but aren't able to get your hands on for some reason? I'm gonna keep this relevant to 2022. Maybe this was a 2021 release, but semi-recent. Studio Series Gnaw? I can't find one. He just never hit markets around where I live. Studio Series 86 Gnaw is great looking. He is this rotund little asshole who turns into a stupid fucking shark thing, and I love him. His transformation is really cool with like this big tummy rotation thing to get the arms and the legs in the right position. He looks great. Can't tell you how he feels because I couldn't find one. I found a single one at a local comic and game store who is known for terrible markups. So he was sitting on the shelf. Here in Canada, he should be like $32, and they had him over here for like 70. Like, it was stupid. So I'm not spending $70 on a deluxe. Get bent. It'd be cool to find one eventually. I'm hoping somebody in my local group maybe wants to sell one sometime. If they do, I will buy it from them. Gary Gastopoulos 9722 asks, how far do you see this channel going? How long do you plan on doing reviews? Till I'm bored of it. I don't really know if there's an answer for that. I'm getting good traffic so far, and I'm pretty happy with the reception the channel is getting so far. If I can keep this growth going at the rate it's going, I think I got something really special here. We'll keep going until I feel like I just don't have anything left to say or contribute, or maybe something else gets in the way. Maybe my hobbies change, we'll see. But you guys aren't getting rid of me so easy. I'll be around for a bit yet. Sharksided asks, what's a figure that shocked you and was not what you expected once you had it in hand? I'm gonna go to one I talked about earlier, actually. I'm gonna bring it back to Legacy Dead End. Considering this guy is a re-shell of Dragstrip, who also surprised me. I wasn't expecting him to be this good. The transformation is so weird. His chest does this crazy split in half thing and tucks into the hood. It's wonderful. Wild Rider is typically my favorite of the Stunticons, but Dead End here is making me rethink things. Dragstrip's my least favorite, and he's like hands down the best of the Stunticons we've gotten so far in the Legacy group, and Dead End is neck and neck for first, I think. But yeah, Legacy Dead End, very, very good figure. Even if you're not going to do a full Menasor, I highly recommend this guy. He doesn't feel compromised by being a combiner component. He's just really good. He's just really good. Zorn Brocus asks, what is your biggest absolute grail for any mecha franchise? That is Transformers, Gundam, Power Rangers, etc. So I'm going to keep it to Transformers because that's what I know the most. Very specifically, I do know what my X top tier grail would be. Black God Magnus. It was a black and gold repaint of the RID 2001 Ultra Magnus toy. He came in a 2-pack with Black God Fire Convoy. I think there was more of the Fire Convoy made, but as far as I'm aware, only 10 units of the Ultra Magnus Fire Convoy 2-pack were made, and it was for a scratch card contest back in the year 2000 in early November for Japan's TV magazine. And of course, you can combine them both together to make Black Omega Prime. Black God Magnus is the most metal Transformers name I think exists. I also really like 2001 RID Ultra Magnus, the big leggy man himself. I have the normal release in my collection, but those black and reds and golds on Black God Magnus are just unreal. It is a very, very pretty figure, but with 10, probably less nowadays left in the world, yeah, that's just not happening. But man, wouldn't it be cool if it did though? Just some ridiculous lucky draw stuff out there. It's so cool how rare some of this stuff gets. Iguanus's biggest fan 766 asks, where do you buy your Transformers? Here's a short and sweet one. GameStop. I pre-order everything I can through GameStop because I get a discount through them. If I can't get it at GameStop, it's probably because it's a Walmart exclusive. In that case, I go to Walmart. But over here in Canada, I do still have Toys R Us. I don't fucking go there anymore because they murdered Transformers prices, so I just stick with GameStop and Walmart. At Toys R Us, a deluxe is like $45+ right now. It's just really frustrating what they're doing over there. So I just don't shop there anymore. Sorry. GameStop pre-orders. That's my best bet. Danny27more11 asks, what is your least favorite figure you got this year? Also, your mustache looks like two capybaras kissing. Okay. Legacy. Armada Starscream. Disclaimer, I still like him. Sorry, look, this is the closest you're gonna get to me still owning a figure that I don't like. He's really sloppy. I found lots of his joints are just, can I get him like a nice slop for you here? It's nothing. There's just nothing holding these legs together, which is really unfortunate. The back just doesn't feel like it taps together and nice. And as a figure, I have some big gripes. Full Voyager price point, and they couldn't add in the wing sword. So the original Armada Starscream, his one wing would actually come off and he could unfold that and use it as a sword. In this release, they just gave him a sword that looks like the wing sword, but it's not. It's both of his wings just stay. That was kind of frustrating. They also included just the saddest Star Saber I've ever seen. It looks like a popsicle. It's so sad. I have a photo of it here of it beside the actual Star Saber from 2004, 2003. It's just pitiful. And it bugs me not because I'm like, oh, give me a full 3-pack of mini-cons to go with this guy, but just don't even give me that. Just do that as its own release. Give me a mini-con Star Saber team as a separate release in core class or something, and use that budget to give me a proper wing sword. He's very handsome and he looks the part. He doesn't have a lot of gaps, but he's just so sloppy, and it feels like some decisions were a little bit cheap, especially considering this is an Armada character who is typically very simple in their transformation. Where's my money going here, guys? Full Voyager price point, no wrists, and he's a swordsman. That's his whole shtick. I still like him because of the kind of collector I am. But if I wasn't an Armada fanboy, this would feel like a very watered down release. Also, his cannons don't sit straight, and that bugs me. But they're sitting flat on his back. You see that there? They don't sit straight. So, yeah. It's 100 little things that ruin this one big thing for me. What do you do? So there you go. There's my least exciting pickup vaguely recently. Wesley5389 asks, will you review older line figures like animated? Yes, I will review older lines. I don't know about animated specifically. I don't own any animated. Animated's really cool, but I just don't really have a desire to pick any of it up. I kind of want an animated Blur. I really like his vehicle mode, but I also know he's got those insanely teeny tiny ball joint hips that kind of wig me out. I can't imagine those have held up great since 2007 when those toys were coming out. Maybe animated way down the road if I can find some cool animated stuff that really appeals to me, but unfortunately, I just don't find a lot of animated toys to be super appealing, and they don't really gel in with my collection. But definitely reviewing older lines. I mean, I've already been reviewing, like, technically some G1 stuff. In that Zaytar video, I talked about G1 Zaytar. So I've already gone all the way back. Expect a good variety of figures, from Masterpiece to GoBots, from modern to, like, mid-2000s, all the way back to G1. I want to keep a good, varied review schedule. Yeah. All right, that was a lot of questions, but I hope those answers suffice for you guys. Thanks again for sticking around if you have watched this all the way to the end. I know this might not be the most interesting video, but I'm having fun with it. I'm trying something a little more freeform today. Thank you to all my subscribers who have joined the channel so early on. I hope to see more people come in as we keep making videos. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been 2022 and the first 2 months of Capriclod's ROMP. Here's to 2023. Let's make it a good one. Take care, everybody. Happy holidays, and I will see you in the next review. Later.